Hey, Matt Noren at the Community Workbench. I proudly sponsor the Community Workbench and everything that it represents for local entrepreneurs. And speaking of which, I am a local entrepreneur. I am a realtor with Remax Bell Park in Hayville, Connecticut. Fully licensed in Connecticut to do commercial, rentals, and residential. I absolutely love my job, love working with clients. So if you are in any need for a realtor, please give me a call, 860-428-6534. Your dreams are my job. Welcome to the Community Workbench. This is Matt Noren and Kyle Morrissey. We are the hosts of the #1 podcast in my basement. At the bench, we try to repair the sense of community. So every week we bring you small businesses, entrepreneurs, community leaders, charities, and pretty much whoever we feel like talking to. And this week we have the esteemed pleasure of talking with Lindsey and Jay Verraneault from NorthStar Mortgage. Hey guys.
Almost. NorthStar Home Loans.
Home loans. I wrote mortgage.
We practiced for an hour.
Happy to be here.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I feel like this has been a long time coming. Jay, I've definitely noticed that you like and share our stuff. In the last couple of months, you've been inviting people to follow us like crazy. I cannot thank you enough for
You're welcome.
for the amazing support that you've had since the get-go on this. So
Yeah, I like what you guys do. I think we're at 1,082 followers when I started inviting people every day. I think we're over 1,300 now.
yeah.
So
Thank you so much.
we'll keep.
We.
Yeah. It is the community.
That's right.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
So we're getting there.
No, I love it. And it's been awesome, like working in the same realm, with you with real estate and mortgages and community, Killingly Business Association. Wow,
Yep.
if I could think straight today, it'd be great.
Dogs got you riled up pregame.
Yeah. I mean, I always start out with like the origin story. What got you into mortgages? What got you into, what got you into wanting to go out on your own and not work for somebody else? Give us the full story.
There's no time limit, right?
Nope, no time limit. We never cut anybody off. That's the point.
2025, so going into year 23 of mortgages.
Wow.
for
So
you.
started all with our buddy down the street, Steve Gagnon, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yep, Steve was went to school with my mom, or both my parents, I guess. And he came into the restaurant one day. My mom owned Clancy's in downtown Danielson before Deb's place.
Yeah.
And Steve said, "Hey, you need to come work with me at this place." And I'm like, "What is it?" He's like, "It's a mortgage company." And I'm like, "I don't know what a mortgage is." He said, "That's fine. You'll do great.
Yeah.
Just come check it out." So at that point, I was 21. I looked like I was 12. I went up and interviewed.
You look like you're 13 now.
I appreciate that. I like that now. Right? So I went up and I interviewed, and his wife Maggie was working at the gym at the time, the Fitness Factory. And used to go there, and I was like, "Hey, I went for this interview, and it's been a couple weeks. I haven't heard anything." He was like, "You need to come work here." Didn't hear anything. So go for a second interview in Rhode Island with now friend Kevin St. Lawrence, who was he's one of the owners of the last company I was at. And it was casual Friday. I showed up in my stepfather's suit. That was a little too big for me, all dressed up. And Kevin didn't want to hire me. And that was the reason why I wasn't getting a call back. So they took a chance, hired me. Another friend said, "Yep, we're going to bring him in." He's like, "He's going to be good." And Kevin disagreed. So they made a side wager. And then my first good month, I walked in and there was a canceled check photocopy on my desk. I said, "I thought you'd like to see this." So it was a bet because I actually did all right. So it all started with Steve really bringing me in. And then from there, we went to a couple different companies. And then in 2018, we decided to do our own thing and open NorthStar. It was kind of a debate of, do we go work with some of these other direct lenders? At that point, I was in the business for a long time. And could have opened really a branch for anybody, and we talked about and didn't really want to work for anyone else. I figured all the people that I'd be reporting to basically had the same resume as me, and it's like, why don't people go off on their own? I don't understand why they don't become their own mortgage broker.
Yeah.
And quickly realized that there's a lot more to it than writing loans, especially as you hire people, right? There's payroll and all that fun stuff. So we started in 2018. We're trying to figure out what are we going to call this company, right? So I drove to Hartford on July 17th of 2018 and registered the business, Secretary of State. And the name, we started like a group family text. And Lindsey loves stars. I was thinking New England home loans at the beginning. I didn't want mortgage in it because I feel like people don't even really know what a mortgage is.
Okay.
Right. You say mortgage and people, it doesn't really stick, but home loan obviously is what it is.
Bringing
right?
the word home into it. Which is definitely
So we wanted home loans. So we're going to do New England home loans, but we thought, we may expand outside of New England. If you're going to Florida or somewhere else in the country, that New England home loans might not be a real viable name. So a family group text were going around and just said, hey, I just want home loans in it. Like, what do you guys think? Her dad, they live up in North Conway, New Hampshire. So you're like, what about NorthStar?
And right away we were like, yep, that's it.
That's
100%.
awesome.
And you just gave me a whole lot of credit there. Like the we and all of that was him. I did mortgages from 2006 to 2008, then 2010 to 2012, and then a little bit in 2017 or so. But when we were deciding to do this, it was really him. And then probably, I don't know, a couple months in, we decided to go all in on it. I have the business background, so I do that portion, but the mortgages is all him. Yeah. I am licensed, but prefer not to do them.
It got busy. It was interesting because 2018, 2019 wasn't really a great market.
Okay.
But for us, it was awesome because every home we helped someone buy, we grew. Right, like we were growing no matter what. We went from start at zero. Right. So when we go to 0 to 3 to 4 per month, everyone was declining, but we were growing and picking up market share. So we needed to hire someone, and I hired a processor that started, and then I think we hired 1 or 2 loan officers. They're still with us today. This guy Paul Terwilliger, he was working for a mortgage broker down the other part of Connecticut. And he wanted to get licensed in Rhode Island. His broker wasn't licensed in Rhode Island. We are. So he called. He said, hey, I want to write loans for Rhode Island. So he came on board. My cousin Sean Toussaint came on board. And at that point, now we have payroll. Now we have loans coming in. There's all kinds of reporting due. And this is why people don't go off on their own, because after the financial crisis, the mortgage business, and if people are listening that can help with, the regulations are a little over the top. It definitely needed to be more regulated because it was the wild, wild west before the financial crisis.
Right.
That was more like Wall Street than the actual originators. The originators we sell what's on the shelf, right? So whatever was there, that's what happened. But it's definitely over. So there's a lot of reporting. Different states interpret different regulations different ways. So we're licensed in 5 states. Connecticut, Mass, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, and Florida, if anyone's looking. And, with all that extra, HR, paperwork, that's really, she's great at it. And it was, hey, do we hire somebody or do you come and...
It was scary. It was like, are we going to go all in on this? And it took us a little while to decide. But I also think it's a fun fact that you have been originated for 23 years. When you decided to open it and do it again, you hadn't originated since like 2004.
Yeah. I was managing, I think I had at one point a team like 70, 75. And I was working in East Hartford the whole time, or most of the time. It was a small stint in Dayville and a small stint in Providence, but mainly in Hartford, East Hartford, Connecticut. And at the end, it was just a call center for the most part. So I wasn't originating, working with, people like you.
Okay.
I was managing people. So when we came back, I had no base. I mean, I knew some people around here, obviously. I grew up here. But I wasn't working here for 16, 17 years.
Wow.
So as far as like being a mortgage guy, wasn't Nobody
Yeah.
knew.
People thought you did insurance.
Yeah, I worked in Hartford. I worked in Hartford, so I must have done insurance.
Yeah, that's
I'd
it.
have friends of mine be like, "Yeah, you're still doing insurance?" I was like, "No, never did insurance." But so it was literally starting from scratch
Wow.
when we opened, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, every loan was like, yes.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been together?
This year will be.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Neither one of you
Doesn't
know.
matter.
We'll be married 14 years in April
What he
of
said.
25.
Well, I didn't think I was going to stump you with that one.
And you didn't think I was going to answer.
It doesn't matter anymore. We're gonna be together forever. It's all
Right.
good.
There you
Who's
go.
counting?
That's right.
Nice. So you have an office in downtown Danielson now. What's the phone number where people would reach you if they want a home loan?
860-377-2341. That's my cell. So
Nice.
call, text.
Yeah.
24/7.
Did you really have to look at
365.
yourself to figure out?
Well, no, I looked and then there was calls. And
Gotcha.
stuff. Some people must have been listening.
Now, you're a broker, right?
Yep.
So what's the difference between broker versus lender?
So you have, really think about it as banks. So Jewett City Savings, Centerville, right? You're kind of brick and mortar banks.
Yeah.
Then you have direct lenders and you have mortgage brokers. The banks really lend their own money, right? And a lot of them, some of them are really good at mortgage and some just kind of do it because they have to, right? Because they're using their deposits as to lend. So they can only do so much.
And
direct-
most of them get sold too, right?
Yeah, most mortgages get sold regardless where you go. There are a few of the local banks that will what they call portfolio them. They'll hold them,
Yeah.
and you can pay that bank. But even a lot of the banks will sell them to wherever investors, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and then the direct lenders, they lend their own money, but they borrow the money that they're lending, and they also have all these layers of management, and that's kind of what I was looking at before we started NorthStar. So for us, right, you have a loan officer, myself, and then in that model you have a branch manager, and a regional manager, and a national sales manager, and all the C-level CEO, CFO, and all this middle management. So they have to make a lot of money on each transaction.
Right.
We have actually talked to a few of them, and I guess we'll, I don't know, pull back the curtain on it, I guess. Dangerous.
So have to use name.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to, but the model is the same, right? And what they do is they just have to make more money just because it costs more to lend
do
those
what they do.
mortgages.
Yeah.
And honestly, they make more on government loans because people that get government loans, FHA, VA, USDA, they historically they don't shop as much. Conventional borrowers are a little more savvy, and they shop more. So they make probably a little bit more money on the conventional loans than what a broker would, but they make a lot more on government. And by them making more money, their rates are higher, their fees are higher. As a broker, if I write a mortgage, I don't have a branch manager, I don't have a regional or not, I don't have any management between me and the top level of whatever wholesale lender we work with. And that allows us to have opportunities to give lower interest rates and lower fees to clients.
Yeah.
So it's a fact. Like you can look at the data that you save thousands of dollars by using a mortgage broker versus a direct lender, especially like online, like a Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah.
Right? Rocket Mortgage is number one, or they're number two now, only because they market to people and people don't shop around for the mortgage, which
Right.
is crazy to me. And I use this example all the time, is you'll see somebody walk outside of Target and they have their arms full of goods because they don't want to spend 10 cents on a bag. Right? They're so financially
They're free
disciplined.
again in Connecticut, but
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, but they won't shop for a mortgage where they could save tens of thousands of dollars.
All right.
Right? People just don't shop for a mortgage. It's insane.
Yeah.
And we always shop around. At least call and ask, like, hey, do you think this is something you can do better than?
I think it's important to note that during the mortgage crisis back in 2008, the brokers got blamed for all of that
Right,
in
they were-
DC and on Wall Street, but that was to protect the big banks.
Right.
So the regulation that came through is brokers are so highly regulated, which is very good for the consumer because we make the same amount of money no matter the loan and no matter what the rate is. Very different for lenders. They make more money
depending
as
on
they
the product,
increase.
depending
Yes.
on how they sell it. And like, I get that as a realtor, and when I was in construction, when you're the one that's working directly with the client, you always get blamed for the good and the bad.
Right.
It's like it's
100%.
and that was just a national crisis. And
Yeah, and mortgage brokers were
Everyone.
about 50% of the market back then.
yeah,
So they got the blame when really it was everybody.
right,
We weren't even a mortgage broker back then, so I'm not just saying that.
yeah,
You know?
right.
We were actually a direct lender at the company I worked for. And then, so mortgage brokers, just their production went way, way down. And now, I think as of last quarter, we're up to like 27% of the market share now, so making our way back.
Mm-hmm.
So really want, trying to get mortgage brokers up to 50%. We see a lot of people jumping from direct lenders to the mortgage broker model. It's better for the client. You have way more options.
Yeah,
The problem is we're the little guys, right? So we don't have the money for all the marketing and the advertising that all the big banks do. So
Yeah.
yeah.
it's a struggle, and it's so frustrating from our end because they're losing 10 grand on every loan that they do. A consumer, like
Right.
Jay said, just shop, just look. It can't hurt to look.
Yeah. Yeah. And then even to dive deeper into it to see where the money goes and whatnot.
Right.
It's a tough thing to do because, you got to put time in to me, it's always better to shop local.
Agreed.
It's like,
100%.
it's like you can be with somebody that's, at your kids' baseball games because their kids are there too, that kind of thing. And to me, I've said this before, I wish I could go to every local business every day and buy something.
Right, I know.
I just love
Yep.
hanging out at all these local shops and all the coffee shops, and just wish I had clients or a need for so many products.
Never-ending pockets.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Well, we worry about that later,
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, every independent mortgage broker is a self-employed small business in their community.
Right.
That's,
Yeah.
we have a few locally. We only have, I think, 3 true mortgage brokers, and that's Steve that we mentioned and John Tremblay up in Thompson, Polaris Mortgage. I think we're the only 3 truly broker-only mortgage companies around.
Oh, wow.
So
Because you can be a broker and a lender.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So you can pick,
Gotcha.
right? So if you want to make some more money on somebody, you can put them in your lending model instead of your broker.
Okay.
And
I didn't realize
yeah,
that.
yep. So you can do both. A lot of companies do both. So what a lot of companies do is they broker the stuff they don't. That's more of you're more liable for the risk that you lend when you're a lender, right? So if they don't want to be liable because it's a riskier loan, they'll broker it out.
Oh, okay.
So there's less risk because it's more on the lender.
Gotcha.
So yeah, there's just the 3. So if you're not gonna pick us, pick one of them.
Truth. And if we really believe in people matter most. So if somebody comes to us and they're getting a really good deal, we're like, hey, you're getting a good deal, keep it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's the shop us last kind of thing.
We're people. We're salespeople, but we don't really want to
Right,
sell anybody on anything. This is a
Yeah.
huge life decision. Like, it's got to be right for you.
Right. And again, you're at the soccer games. You're,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
there in the
Right.
community. If you
Yeah.
do something bad or wrong or dishonest, it's never
it's
you
not.
never get away with it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's,
And we don't want to.
Right.
But,
Yeah. It's just like it's always going to cause that ripple effect, and so it's just always better to be on the level, and it'll come around.
always
it
do the
just-
right
you-
thing.
and you keep plugging. Just keep plugging. Okay, they have a better deal over there. Someone else is going to get a better deal with you.
Some of our local
you know?
banks, they have amazing rates and they have some really great special programs for certain people if they qualify.
Yeah.
So I always tell, if an agent calls me and says, hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, I don't know. Tell them to call me. And some loan officers will say, well, what's your social? I need all your information because I'll just say, what did they tell you your credit score was? Tell me your loan situation. Yep, that's a great deal. Or you know what? We could probably do better than that. But either way, you have the peace of mind. You don't have to go through all these hoops
Right.
to figure out, hey, this is that's a good deal. Take it. And honestly, I get calls if it's another mortgage broker, if it's one of those guys we mentioned, then if it's Steve or John, and they say, hey, I'm working with someone, like, he's a mortgage broker. You're getting a good deal because, like she said, we know we all get paid the same,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it could be a structure thing where maybe we structured a certain way and fit them into a program that other people didn't think of. And at that case, we can save money. But 9 times out of 10, if they say they're working with one of the brokers, we say just stick with them. They're a mortgage broker. You're in good hands. So just make sure you stick with a broker.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is when you have a broker, you have a lot more variety in products because you can kind of register with so many different ones.
Yeah, we have access to, I would say, every residential purchase program with the exception of one that is on its way. If we come back, we can maybe announce it. It's in the works, and we'll be the only broker in Windham County that has it. So
nice.
But
That's
it'll be
cool.
that's the only one we don't. The only tool we don't have in our tool belt currently.
Right.
But we have everything. I mean, we have down payment assistance loans. We have
VA.
investor loans, VA, USDA, and VA is one of the ones that direct lenders really. Those are the ones that veterans get screwed the most, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Oh, it drives me wild.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, honestly, most of my clients are actually sellers for some
Yeah.
reason. And that's not anything that I did just the last couple
Good
of
for you.
years. Has been sellers. I haven't had a ton of buyers. When I started out, the first like 5 years was like a 50-50 every year. I was 50-50. And now for some reason, I just keep getting listings and,
That's
I'll
the
take
goal,
it.
right? Good for you. Good for you.
In
I
this
like working
market-
with buyers though too.
Yeah.
It is tougher in this
Yeah.
market.
In this
but
market, you don't have to do 27 showings. So, hey, here's the lockbox.
as a seller, I try to make
Yeah.
most of them anyway. But I kind of lost my train of thought there.
Oh, we were talking about VA loans.
Yeah, so I guess on your end, a VA loan, how does it work that you're
It's just we have the wholesale rates. We don't have
Okay.
crazy fees. I talked to a guy today. So I'm part of a group called Vetted VA. It's put together by this guy out of Texas. He's a mortgage broker, and he vets you personally to make sure you're a good person, help veterans, and then professionally to make sure you do good business. And then once you pass both those tests, he makes you take 3 50-question tests regarding the VA handbook to show that you know how to do VA loans.
Wow.
To get from a rank of a VVA1 to a VVA2. And then you got to take another 3 50-question tests to get a rank of a VVA3. And once you become a VVA3, you can moderate the Facebook group and you can be put on the map. So if someone's looking for a VA loan, they can go to vettedva.com. There's tens of thousands of members on this Facebook group. And every 8 days, we're on a fire watch where we have to answer questions for veterans. We're not allowed to solicit. So if someone says, hey, I'm looking to buy, if they say in Connecticut, we have to ask them to remove location. So they're not solicited. It's just strictly feedback to provide good feedback, real feedback, which is why you need to know the handbook to veterans. So if you're a veteran, go to vettedva.com and check it out. It's a great resource. There's thousands of questions. I mean, we're on fire watch once every 8 days. And the amount of questions we answer in a day, just all regarding all different scenarios of the VA home loan, people just don't know, but it's really just to educate veterans.
yeah.
So that's a great program, and go take a look at that. But if you want to get a VA loan, make sure you're working with a mortgage broker. If it's not us, because they really, especially the ones that you would. I mean, I don't know if like the big banks are listening to the podcast. But the release we signed said you guys would pay for any. So the ones that have like the veteran in their name will say, you think they're affiliated with the military. They're not. There's no affiliation.
Oh, wow.
And people think they are. We even went to our nephew's graduation down in Paris Island, and there's one of those banks on base, and they make the soldiers set up with the banks. And so you think they're a trusted resource. And really, they really crush veterans when it comes to rates and fees. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's a whole nother
Yeah.
world that you don't really see, that you don't get to see.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, I just again, you're on Main Street, you're KBA, you're the president of the KBA, right?
For a few more days.
For a few more days.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Why don't you talk to us about that experience? Killingly Business Associations is doing great things for Danielson and Killingly
And how we
surrounding
started in
areas.
Killingly and came back to Killingly. That's a great story. You kind of just passed right over that.
Yeah. So when we opened, we didn't have an office, and we didn't want to license our house, and we also didn't want to pay rent. We didn't have any revenue. So my mom had Deb's place at the time, and there's this tiny little
I remember that.
tiny office, right? Fit about maybe a half person in there comfortably.
Yeah. Yeah, we always met in the restaurant.
Yeah. So we started there, and I was like, all right, well, I need to get involved. Let's see what there is. I joined the Killingly Business Association, the Putnam Business Association, the Chamber of Commerce, Northeast Connecticut Chamber of Commerce. And I went to my first KBA meeting, and there was probably 12 people there. Mike Teed was running it at the time, and he was just kind of getting it back rolling. And Christine Farner was the vice president. And one day I emailed them. I said, hey, do you guys, if you need any help, I'm happy to help. Want to get involved. And this was towards the end of 2018 when we first opened. And Christine's like, great. Do you want to be the vice president? I was like, I don't know what that means. She's like, not a lot. Just come to some meetings. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be at the meetings anyway. So if it's not a heavy lift, sure, I'll do it. So I became the vice president and very quickly realized, and I always look at the Putnam Business Association. They're the big brother.
Right.
To me, the mentor. They're just a well-oiled machine, just the way they operate, the way they, I was talking to Barney, the mayor, today at one of the ribbon cuttings, and he's like, we just have it going on here, huh? And like just the vibe between the town, the rec department, the police, the PBA, it's all just one close-knit group that makes things happen. So I always looked at them.
One goal. They all have one goal, and
Right,
it's pretty cool.
So I noticed that they would send a representative from the PBA to interview their guest on Winnie, and they were on twice a month. KBA's on every week, Thursday, 7 o'clock. And we're the only business association on every single week. And I said, guys,
which is a huge offer for anybody that belongs to the Killing Business
Yeah,
Association.
you're a small
Like, that's
business
massive.
member.
Yeah.
join the KBA.
Yeah, I've often praised Gary, especially his show where you can call in and talk about anything.
Yeah.
To me, to have that following and just have that open form conversation for, what that does for freedom of speech of this area is just incredible to me.
Absolutely.
And then all these other the shout outs and the spotlights for local business is this is huge, and he's at every event, whether he's broadcasting or not. He's always at every event taking pictures and
you need to have him and Karen on, man.
Dude,
Like king and queen of Windham County right there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're amazing, and going on there, you get some good exposure, and with the KBA, we didn't have a representative going at that point, and we were just getting started. So I said, hey, why don't we have a rep? And they're like, well, who's going to go on Winnie every Thursday at 7 a.m.? And I was like, I'll do it.
Here comes the heavy lifting.
So there became my career on Winnie as Gary's co-host on the morning show. And I get a lot of crap for that, but it's a lot of fun, and it's good.
What do you
for
mean
business.
you get a lot of crap for it?
People like, oh, what do you have, an office here?
Oh, okay.
Shocker, I heard you on the radio again. Actually, I will be on the radio with the mortgage show tomorrow, 7 a.m. if you want to tune in. Gary and I'll be live.
Yeah. In the mortgage show, that's like your own thing you came up with?
Yeah, so we decided there was all these other shows, right? The doctors are on there. Jim Zahansky and Lawrence Hale are on there for their financial. Tom Warner used to go on with Money Sense when he was at the bank. Sarone's on there like twice a month with New Day with Dave Kimball. So I said, Gary, there's no mortgage show on here. Like, can we put a mortgage show? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So
Nice.
we started once a quarter, and it was a hit. The viewers called in and wanted more of the mortgage show.
Right. That's what happened.
So we gave them what they wanted.
Nice.
We're going once a month now. Yeah, so.
It's more of a deeper dive into mortgages.
Yeah.
There's so much people don't know. Sometimes
Right.
we take for granted what we do know when we're talking to people. So it's usually a deeper dive into specific subjects every month, and hopefully educate some people.
Yeah, for sure. They don't put enough of that in our school systems with budgeting, mortgaging, anything.
It's coming now. I think it's this class, either this year or next year, seniors need to have the personal finance class in order to graduate.
Oh, nice.
Which is awesome. So talk about, I've gone in, I spoke at the Woodstock Academies when our daughter Lily was there. Mike Bourgeois was one of the math teachers, and I was at
Killingly. He was our Ellis Tech soccer coach.
Oh, Bouge.
Loved Bouge.
So Bouge run personal finance. Kimball's still teaching, but I went to their class. We talked about just home buying and how it works, trying to keep it basic.
Yeah.
But at least give the kids an intro, because
Right.
they
Yeah.
adults have no clue. If we can get some of
Yeah.
the kids to learn
Right.
early.
Yeah.
At least have some sort of idea.
How to balance a checkbook. I know that's
And
probably
they shouldn't.
a
Adults
dated
shouldn't
way of
know.
saying it.
Like it doesn't happen until you're like, let's buy
Yeah,
a house.
until you-
Like why
yeah.
else would you?
The amount of people
Mm.
we talk to, and like, I've never bought a house. What do I do?
Right.
It's a good place to start is with us and walk you through it and build a budget. And
Yeah. Yeah, I love how like you can even like take on a tenant, so to speak, and basically, or anyone, if they don't have great credit, you can kind of give them that path on how to rebuild your credit and or just build it
Yep.
if they're really young or
yeah,
just don't have credit. Some people just still use cash all the time and don't really
cash
have
is
the
not
credit,
king
so-
unless you can use it to buy a house.
Yeah, but like it's great because just helping people do that, and later on down the road, some people don't realize that's like a huge resource that they have with
Yeah.
with a broker like you that would just help them out for that and go sometimes years before they can actually buy.
Yeah, I think that's another difference
100%.
between being local and calling those online, right? You're just a transaction to them. You're just a number.
Right.
So if you call and you don't have any credit, they're like, yeah, you don't have any credit. Sorry. Hang
Yeah.
up. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things we talk about always with our people is we never say no. We say how. Like, how
Yeah.
can I get there? So
Yeah.
we've talked about it in the past, like putting together some budgeting thing that I would run. I don't know. Maybe we'll think about that in the near future.
We have a kid now. He's gonna probably close in January. Came to us probably 6-7 months ago. No credit, not a lot of income. So we helped him build credit, and his grandfather was going to co-sign for him, but because of the way he had to go with an FHA loan, and with FHA, if you don't have a score, you can't really use the income of the non-occupant borrower. His grandfather
okay.
wasn't going to live with him. So we had to kind of restructure from there. And now he built up some credit. We gave him some tips, and he came back to us a few weeks ago. He's over a 700 credit score.
Nice.
Now he can go conventional, right, avoid mortgage
okay.
insurance. And so he's going to be closing on his house in January. So
Nice.
pretty cool story. A lot of cool stories.
Yeah. Yeah, that's and then it's that you weren't just some online application
Right.
that you clicked all the boxes and
It's not a transaction
right
for
It's,
us.
it's a relationship.
Yeah.
And 5 years from now when he wants to remortgage or whatever, I mean, you guys will have that relationship for life, or even if he never does,
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, our goal is to have clients for life. I mean, obviously, we're their neighbor, right? We're in their community. When you close, we send every month, they get a home value report. Shows them what their home's worth, how much equity they have, some different things they could do with their equity if they wanted to sell it, if they wanted to flip it to an Airbnb, how much they would make, what they could make rental income in their area, if they wanted to buy a second home, if they wanted to pull money out for renovations or improvements. So this home value report is very interactive, brings them through all that. They can click through different scenarios with their house, and they get that every single month from us, so they can see what their value and equity looks like, as they go through.
Nice. Did you want to go over shopping local? Oh,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
was that what we were talking about already?
Yeah,
But
pretty much. I
You
mean-
just wrote the note down, so I was
Yeah.
like, I think we did that, but I didn't know if there was like a specific event or anything coming
No,
up.
I don't think so. I mean, I think we always, this time of year, right, we say, hey,
Yeah.
the holidays, shop local.
Right, right.
But always shop local, right? Like you said, try
Yeah.
and figure out, does somebody local have what you're looking for?
Right.
And go support them, because
Yeah.
there's no big like corporate parachute for us, right? Like it's the small local business. There's no big CEO you can go to and go, hey boss, can you give me an advance on my pay?
Right.
Like, you are the boss. And if you're not getting paid, there's no money for an advance on your pay.
Right.
So, you're working every day in the community. And we always talk about, right, you get all these letters for sponsorship, and you're happy to do it when you can.
Yeah.
You can't always sponsor everything.
Right,
And the
right.
more you sponsor, the more people see you out there and
Yep.
think, hey, you should go ask those guys for a sponsorship. And you got to rein it in at times, right? There's good
Right,
and bad,
for
especially in
sure.
our business.
Yeah.
Right, as you know, going up and down
Yep.
in this real estate world. So when you're thinking about, if you were tasked to go get 5 donations for your kid's little league or soccer team, who would you call? Call those same people for whatever you're looking for, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's a shirt, whether whatever you're looking for. Call those same people you would solicit, because you're not going to go to the big box stores. You're not calling Amazon for a little league sign. Right.
Yeah.
You're going to call local businesses. So call them and give them your business, as well as calling them and asking them for donations. That's a good way to kind of think about it.
And for us, I think a lot of people use big business and the mortgages for convenience, but we have all of the technology that they do. It's not any less convenient to use us. You just get to use somebody local that you can trust.
Yeah. You want to say your website?
Yeah, it's nstarhomeloans.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok.
TikTok.
LinkedIn.
Wow, that's impressive.
You're on all those things.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to follow you just to see what you post.
Well, we just got our intern back today, so we'll be back. And that's another thing with the small business, where we have an intern working for us, and we've had a few over the years. So work closely with championship coach Chad Neal and Tanya Hebert in the Career Center. And, Killingly has a great career pathways program.
Nice.
It might be a good guest for you, too, to kind of talk about the pathways there. It's pretty incredible. I think they have one of the schools with the most pathways in the state.
Wow.
So they line these kids up and you can be in multiple pathways. So the kids that are looking for marketing, entrepreneurship, things like that, we've done a job shadow, and we're really working to push our KBA members now to jump in and offer internships. And the internships can be paid by EastCon. There's a great program where EastCon will pay the intern, so the kid gets paid and they get the experience with the local business.
Nice.
So we've had a couple of interns work on our marketing, and when we didn't have them, my TikTok videos have gone down. So we'll get back on them. She was working on it today, so maybe beginning of the new year. We don't want to put them out there at Christmas, but so it's a great opportunity again, just to be part of the community, and the big businesses aren't doing that.
Yeah. Right. This is pull up the YouTube page here. You on YouTube as well?
So, yeah, we just kicked off NorthStar University.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, you guys have been asking about that for a while.
Yeah, we saw you at Wicked Sinister in the back.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's funny because, the idea, you want to talk about NorthStar University?
No, go for it.
No?
You're on a roll.
No, so NorthStar
I'll
University.
chime in. You know.
Yeah. So we always we find ourselves as a resource to people and realtors. I get a lot of calls from agents going, "Hey, it's not even my loan." Sometimes it's if they have a listing, go, "Hey, the loan officer's telling me this, or the buyer's agent's telling me this. Does this sound legitimate?"
Yeah, right.
Right? Because you guys,
we've had those questions
right?
for sure.
So, what? We find ourselves to be a great resource for agents, for clients, and I feel like we're one of the only companies that actually educate consumers and educate people. So we had the idea of developing NorthStar University, and it's just going to be a collaboration of videos as basic as you can get, talking about documents, talking about what a mortgage is.
Single subject videos.
Yeah.
Single subject.
That's you, right?
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
And the NorthStar University sign.
That's a nice sign. Where'd you get
Shout out to John Jenna.
Jenna.
Yeah, so that's what prompted our conversation, right? So NorthStar University.
And Amanda Semino.
Yeah.
Without her, we wouldn't have.
Yeah, Amanda Semino, Inspire Marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does great. So we brought her on to do marketing a while ago now. She does an awesome job. She came up. We were talking about this NorthStar University idea, and she created this logo, and it's awesome.
And I'm very particular.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
It's tough to get the boss's approval. All marketing has to run through her. So she knocked it out of the park, and then she worked with John to create that sign.
Yeah.
So this is our YouTube channel. We're going to build it out. It'll be on our website as well. So if you want to know anything about mortgages, or if we miss something, let us know. We'll add it. So it's a video that literally just talks about one subject. What is a mortgage? Right. How do you save for a down payment?
Appraisals, titles,
loan estimate, right? Like whatever you want to know, you should be able to find here. And if you can't, we'll add it quickly for you.
I will suggest a what's next. I've often thought about doing that. So like there's just a list of like when someone's buying a house, like, what's the first move, second move, third move? Okay, once this is done, am I waiting, or am I doing something to get to the next one? Because sometimes there's times when you're just waiting for like underwriters to finish what they're doing. that kind of stuff.
It's actually the way in which we're doing it. So we started through the process. That's how we came up with our initial topics, and that's how they'll be loaded.
Yeah.
So that you can see it every step of the way.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
that way, if you had the appraisal done and you're not sure, you can go to the next one and
Yeah, I think
see what's
episode
next.
1 is the home buying process, kind of an overall look. We actually have a buyer's guide, so if you want the buyer's guide, drop it in the comments. We'll send it over to you. But we have a buyer's guide that walks you through the process, and then we're going to cover each step in that process in the videos as well. And then when I saw you guys, before we even announced it, this is the first time I think we've really announced it. We did it coming soon on Facebook, so it's
Nice.
right here live on the community workbench. Check out NorthStar University on YouTube. So you guys were like, hey, what's up with NorthStar University? I'm like, how the hell do you know what NorthStar University is?
Wait, how did you?
I saw the
My ways.
sign.
I'm pretty well connected.
Community workbench, 60 episodes. I know everything. And I said, what do you think it is? And you said, oh, you're going to teach people how to be loan officers. So we stole your idea. And we're also doing a segment of NorthStar University for loan officers. So, we put on there, we're hiring. We'd love to bring in, there's not a lot of loan officers around here. We're not in like Hartford or Boston or Providence, where there's a bunch of mortgage companies around, right? There's only a few small companies, and we all know each other. So we figured we would bring in, kind of young, I guess, people the way that I know I was coming into the business. Nobody looks for mortgages. Mortgages find you.
Okay.
Right. So maybe that we sat around the table at our meeting and it was like not one person went to school to be a mortgage person.
Yeah.
Right. So you kind of just
There is no school to be a mortgage
true.
person.
School of hard knocks.
yeah, exactly.
So we want to, maybe the kid that just graduated and took this job and it wasn't what they thought it was, or still can't find the right job. And they're like, you know what? I don't know what to do. Like, give this a shot. If you have the right personality, you can do great things. So we're going to put them through NorthStar University. It'll be a training program to teach them how to pass the test. It's 20 hours of pre-education. It's a 100-question test. And once you pass that, you can start originating loans.
And it's not easy.
Yeah.
Not easy to pass.
All those regulations from the financial crisis are in there, and you have to know them all.
Yeah.
And there's usually at least 2 right answers, and you have to
All
put the most
trick-
right
all trick
answer. First, you have to figure out what the question's actually asking you, because they try to trick you even with that, what they're looking
beautiful.
for. Yeah.
So, we want to bring in.
At the same time, we don't want just everybody to be able to write mortgages. So I think
Yeah.
it's a good thing
It's
at
a
the end
good
of the
point.
day. Yeah.
So we're going to bring them in. We'll train them, pass the test, and then we'll send them out to United Wholesale Mortgage. Did you go out there?
I
Did
went
you go out
there.
there? You went
Yep.
there, right?
Yep. Out in
So
Detroit.
they do a great training program for new loan officers, and then we'll bring them back, and we have like a little 8-week boot camp to run them through, and then ideally they'd be already hit the ground running. So love to kind of grow it, maybe 3 to 5 at a time. Groups I think would be great. Nice little
Right.
team to kind of bond together and fly out to Michigan and then come back and kind
Yeah.
of learn together. And
Right.
I might be biased, so that's how I came into the business. It was awesome. We had so much fun.
Yeah, mentors are kind of everything in real estate and mortgages. I feel like you can do all the class work and pass it beautifully, but if you don't, it's like it's always better to have somebody there that's been doing it in real time. And I shadowed Lynn Converse a couple of times. I shadowed Rainey all the time. It was just it helps so much to see everything actually in action
For sure.
versus just in the classroom and whatnot. So yeah, it's a huge thing for the industry to, it's way better to work with, even if your competitors are well educated, it's better. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather them be well-educated realtors rather than one that doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
You know what I
100%.
mean? It's just like,
And in our world, every loan, every applicant is different. So you need a mentor for life, because it's not cookie cutter and it's not cut and dry.
Right.
Every single one is different, and you
Yeah.
can't make up half of the stuff
that
that comes up. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
You said
every-
something the other day. You're like, well, 23 years, never seen this. Like, and that happens all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm 8 years in, and even as a contractor, so you put me 20 something years in the housing industry overall, and I've never had the same client.
Yeah.
As far as even when you get a client and they want something else down the road, it's a totally different thing.
Exactly.
It's just everything always goes differently. So it's one of those things. But that's part of learning. Like a good mentor will tell you adaptability. Don't panic. That's the biggest one. Is like when people panic and escalate the situation to a bad place rather than de-escalate to a calm. Like let's get through the whatever the issue is and move on. That kind of stuff.
There's too much to learn. You can't just learn it from a book. You got to learn by doing.
Right.
Or we say learn by messing up. Like you
Yeah.
really gotta-
Yeah,
once
for
you mess
sure.
it up,
Unfortunately, in our
Yeah.
business, that happens.
you mess it
Oh,
up
yeah.
and you'll
Yeah,
never
yeah.
make that.
Right.
Oh, you get
Yeah.
burned.
Yeah.
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 So-
Like, okay.
And it's cool when they they throw you in the fire too. Finally, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, all right,
Go ahead, Matt, write that contract
Here you
yourself.
go. Yep. They're coming in 3 minutes. You ready? So yeah, it's definitely been a wild experience. I just love working with people, and real estate is that for me. You know what I mean? Even as a contractor, my favorite part was going over the job, the
Yeah.
project with the client, and even though I do still like woodworking, but it's just like I finally took me 15 years, but I figured out that it's like
Yeah.
the best part of this is when you're with the people, and as a realtor, you get to do that more often.
Good for you. That's awesome.
I tell you like woodworking because there's tools up there. I have no idea what they are.
Yeah, a lot of these are heirlooms and antiques. Most of them I don't use when I'm doing woodworking. I have a whole nother shop. Yeah, it was, had a couple of friends down here that bust on me because they're like, "Oh, you took all the useful tools out of the shop." It's like, yeah.
They do look a little old.
So yeah, a lot of them are my grandfathers and my dad's.
Oh,
Nice.
that's
That's
so
cool.
cool.
Stuff like that. So, yeah, I had a lot of fun just kind of decorating
Yeah.
with carpentry tools. So,
It's awesome.
but yeah, I'm really excited for the university, both for clients and for.
We have a third one too.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
let's go.
But wait, there's more. It's NorthStar University for real estate agents.
Nice.
So it's going to be a private Facebook group. So I don't know if you're on the Facebook groups like the Connecticut real estate one or right. So you put a question on there, and there's a bunch of mortgage people on there, and you're trying to get your question answered, and you have all these mortgage people be like, "Yeah, Matt, call me. I can help you with that." And you're like, "I just wanted to. I don't need help with it. I just need to answer the question.
Yeah.
I don't want to call you." So this will be same thing as kind of the vetted VA model. No solicitation. It's just going to be our team. We're not asking for business. Like it's just for you, a resource for real estate agents to go on the page, ask a question. You can do it anonymously if you want to,
Nice.
and just say, "Hey, can I do a house with an underground oil tank? Do I have to get that taken care of, or does it? Can I go
Any-
FHA
any-
conventional?
Right,
like
right,
what's the
right.
deal?" And we'll just answer the question. And we coached our team. Said, "Hey, when we do this, you can only answer if you know the answer. You can't say, 'I think I did this one time,' right? So you're going to know the answer, and you're also going to cite the handbook you found it in or the seller's guide and paste it in there. So the agent has the answer, and they have the thing where they can go back
Yeah,
to whoever it
reference.
is and say, hey, yes, we can do a mobile home, but it needs to meet all of these requirements right here. So it's going to be a resource for real estate agents. So we'll roll that out soon. We built the page. We haven't invited any realtors yet. What we want to do is we want to load some content. So we're kind of rounding up the recent questions we got from agents. We're going to put like 2 or 3 that we each got. So we have a kind of a base. So you can go in there, and there'll be a search feature too. So if you want to search like cesspool, right? Search cesspool, and then any question comes up. Say, oh yeah, you know, can't do it conventional unless it meets all these things. But FHA is okay if it meets, certain criteria. So it's a good resource for real estate agents.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that if you're on any of these groups, it's one of the few things I know about social media is like in Facebook groups, you can search the content.
Yeah.
You don't actually have to ask or
Yeah.
post a question. you can see if somebody already asked it.
There's
Right.
always usually somebody on there that says, "Oh, just search."
Yeah.
After you ask the
Yeah.
question.
Well, let's be honest. Most people don't search. Right.
I'm usually first to go to the search.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but those, I feel like those are great, but the solicitation is crazy because every loan officer's on there looking
Yeah.
to get the loan, right, or
Yeah.
get the deal. So like, yeah, I got you, Matt. Call me. And you're like, no, I just want to know. Can I, what's this or what's that? So this is strictly we'll be the only mortgage people on there. And again, there's no solicitation, just simply to be, a valuable asset
Yeah,
to real estate agents. So
I love it.
we'll get you an invite for that soon.
Nice.
Got a little content on
You
there.
hear that? I made the cut, Kyle.
Yeah. Shocking.
Because we rolled out NorthStar University here, we'll invite you first.
Oh, look at that. So when you ask a question, you'll be the only one to get an answer.
Has anyone ran into this before? Wait, nobody else here.
No, that's awesome. And again, it's one of those things where you have a local business going above and beyond, and when they don't have to, that sort of thing. And I just feel like that is always more the realm. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with competitors over stuff for projects rather than competing to the point where you don't like each other. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
never how it is. We do events and we raise money together, and I just feel
There's enough out there for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we want everybody to win.
right. And if you feel like, oh, I should have gotten that client, well, then sharpen your stone a little bit, a little bit more, sharpen your iron a little bit more, that kind of thing. And I just think it helps everybody, and I really feel like our community of business owners has been more like we want to just help everybody stay in business kind of thing rather than
Imagine that.
because if it's overwhelming, like there's more local mortgage officers, then you kind of push out the corporate stuff.
Right.
I feel like that's where we could go, but
That's why I would say use a mortgage broker. If it's not us, use one of those two guys.
yeah,
The only
yeah.
independently owned people around.
Yeah. And, if you use like more farm to table for your groceries, and that's
Yep.
less that these big corporate chains get, for business and that type of thing. And it just makes us more independent as a community.
Yep, absolutely.
Man, I love the fact that you guys came on. You're the last one before Christmas. So,
Merry Christmas
Merry-
to
we
us.
sh-
I can't
Yeah.
believe we're here. If
Oh,
we're almost
I
at the
know.
end of 2024.
Yeah.
How wild
It's-
is that?
Crazy.
Do you remember being younger and it seemed like that was
Forever.
like Jetsons world?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
and then just the idea of like the anticipation where like you're like, because as a kid you have barely anything to do for the holidays. You're
right,
just
right.
waiting and
Yeah.
waiting and waiting, and now as a parent you're like, oh,
I don't
well,
have enough time.
We don't have it done
Yeah,
yet.
right.
We gotta get it done.
Need more time.
So, no, it's and we are taking next week off from podcasting, so
Good for you.
definitely go on our page and binge watch any of them that you haven't watched, and
I got to do that.
and
Yeah.
we'll
You're on Spotify too, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Spotify,
Oh, cool.
YouTube,
Yeah.
and I want to explore the idea of uploading them all to X as well
Yeah.
here pretty soon, just to be on another platform, and just any of the long form platforms that we can be on.
Yeah.
I feel like is just the better. So. Yeah, so we'll make that announcement when I actually do it. My profile picture on X has the real estate logo, the Remax logo, and the community workbench logo, but I haven't done anything.
Nice.
I don't,
Baby step.
First step. Yeah.
yeah, I was like messing around with the pictures one day, and so the cover picture has it on there.
Yeah, we're not on X.
That's all you. Social media is my jam.
We have an intern back.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
Yeah,
That's
right.
true.
probably could run circles around us with those.
Check
things.
out NorthStar Home Loans on X in 2025.
Well, when we were looking at it, if you make a profile, you have to wait.
Yeah.
3
So when
months
Elon
to
Musk
post.
took it over
Yeah.
to combat robots,
Yeah.
from the day you sign up, you have to wait 3 months to post, because what was happening is people would sign up.
Yeah.
They were all robots, so they'd sign up hundreds of thousands of accounts and start all this stuff. So You have to wait 3 months. Although I think I have
That
a
actually
burner
makes some
account
sense.
that's been open for 3 months.
Right,
We could probably use.
Oh yeah.
So that I'm not a robot checkbox doesn't work on X.
It's a bus at an intersection. I swear.
I don't know if I ever got those all right on the first try.
It's horrible.
Yeah, sometimes they seem like a trick question. Like, yes, that's a red light. Right?
There's always like the meme with like the light. It's like just a tiny piece
Yeah.
in the corner. It's
Right.
like, is it?
It is. It is.
Yeah,
I
and then it
can't-
turns out you had some other piece of information wrong.
Right.
Oh man.
No, find all the stairs.
Yeah.
My glasses on.
Yeah. It was like the worst set of
your
authentication we could have gone
glasses
to.
Put my glasses on, I look close. I'm
That's
like, all right. All right, got it.
Might be sometimes that feels like the hardest thing I've done the day.
Yeah.
This coming from someone who codes.
I don't code, but
Don't you write code?
no. I build user interface.
Maybe we should have you on the show.
Yeah.
and See what you do.
He's like the Chandler. Like, no one knows his real job.
I think only you don't know.
For those of you under 35, Friends was a sitcom in the 90s.
Oh man.
Don't worry, we don't have anybody under 35 listening.
Oh man.
So, yeah, with Christmas coming up, I can't say it enough. Just try and buy local, even last minute stuff. A lot of places have the same technology. You can order online. You can schedule things online, and a lot of places have delivery too. So, also shout out to Black Pond Brewery tonight. Thank you again
for sure.
for supplying the. Well, they didn't. I bought these, but I still say they supplied it because without them, we wouldn't have it.
Mike
So-
supplied me this the other night. This Moves IPA.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
The
Nice.
flagship.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like the new
Yeah.
black.
I do
Yeah,
too. I
black
was just looking
ones
at
are
that. That's
awesome.
nice.
It's
Yeah.
like subtle, right?
Yeah.
Black Pond. It's like-
And
These guys are awesome.
they,
like,
they are. They,
To start where they started.
Yeah.
I think last I talked to Mike, they were in like 200 plus retailers.
Oh, yeah,
Can't,
they're-
like,
Yeah.
it's
So
insane.
cool.
So
So
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
And they're one of the only craft brewers that do the 16-ounce cans instead of the big 20.
They do
Yeah.
now, yeah.
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 That was a question on the show, and I
Right.
asked them, and they were like, "Yeah," I don't. And now they're doing.
Oh no, somebody answered it.
Yeah, they
It's
did,
about,
but
about the bacteria transaction. There's less.
oh, maybe you remember that.
Yeah, there was.
He was hitting the switches
So
for the
with-
cameras at that point. And
With larger volume, there's less chance for. Is this that many less transactions from
Oh,
the
yeah.
keg to the can?
That makes sense.
Wow, what a memory.
he's good.
Sometimes I have recall.
For the important things.
right. So, anyway, shout out to Black Pond Brews. We're gonna get them back on here again because they're like all these other shops. They're always improving, you know.
Yeah.
And although, like when we had Two Dogs. Oh, that's the other thing we should talk about is you guys are landlords, right?
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
And
Habit fast. Yeah.
I like to call us friends, not landlords.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't totally speak, but Two Dogs is like one of my favorite spots.
Yeah.
And,
They're awesome.
And
Yeah, they did a great job.
and they, like we've had them on twice, and they've improved so much between both episodes. It's incredible. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
pretty
was-
cool.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, that was a shout out to the Northeast Connecticut Chamber of Commerce.
For
I mean,
sure.
that's how we met them. So
okay, yeah,
like if you're a local business, get out, join the chamber, join the KBA, PBA, and network because like we weren't looking for a tenant at these networking events, and they weren't looking to open a coffee shop.
yeah,
They
said
weren't,
that was in
literally.
their 5-year plan until
Yeah.
we
We were
met
like, how about now?
Yeah.
Jay Verraneault.
Yeah, we saw, yeah, I mean, I was sitting at a chamber meeting and someone said that we have a new member. It's Two Dogs Coffee
Out of Pomfret, Connecticut?
out of Pomfret, Connecticut. And I'm like, we live in Pomfret. And I never heard of this coffee shop. So the next day, Nancy at the chamber does a great job getting people on Winnie Radio. So they're on Gary O. And Gary O said, what do you see as the vision? And Gwilym was on. He said, 5 years, I see us like drive-through kind of coffee shop and blah, blah, blah. And we had a vacant space. And when we bought the building in Danielson, we bought it with the intention we put our office upstairs so that we could leave the two storefronts open. Because not only did we want to own our building, we wanted to help revitalize, downtown Danielson.
For sure.
So we only wanted sustainable business that also provided value to the town.
That brought people in.
Right. So what would be valuable to the town? Like there were some businesses that came through that they don't really provide value to the town. They don't really enhance the town to help build back the way it was back in the day. So like a coffee shop would be great. I heard him on, like, let's bring them in. So I called Brittany. It's like, hey, this is Jay Verraneault, blah, blah. She's like, who is this again? Right? Just cold call.
The bald guy you met last night.
Yeah, actually, I never even met her.
Oh, really?
At that
Oh, you
point.
didn't meet him at the chamber?
No,
Oh,
I just
okay.
saw them on Winnie.
Oh, okay.
And just asked Betty, who was our executive director at the time, for their number. And she's like, we're getting ready to go get married, and I don't know. I'll talk to my husband. So she talked to Gwillem, and the next day she called. She was like, hey, he wants to come check it out. So we met him downstairs and kind of talked about their vision and showed him the space, and kind of just all started from there. And
Yeah, because they
Now
were
they-
an online coffee shop.
yeah, they were just online. They're like,
while.
we're thinking 5 years, but I'm like, well, rent's cheap. Come on, we need a good coffee shop. And at that point, Chubby Dog wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And we had really said now's the time.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
it's gonna,
no- there's
downtown
nothing there,
Danielson's
right?
going to take
So-
off if you're going to do it.
Yeah, so they came and they're crushing it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great spot and great coffee, obviously. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and they locally
people.
source everything.
They
yeah,
do.
everything's
It's so
awesome. Yeah,
And like to the same thing we were talking about before is, they're competitors, yes, but I mean, they do so much for, that same Main Street, and they have two totally different vibes.
Yeah.
And it's it caters to both types of people.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
both
It
types of
works.
whatever you're
for
looking
some
for.
reason, it works.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a mug for both of
Yeah.
those clubs
Yep.
because I'm a coffee addict.
Yeah.
But
just what you said with real estate, there's plenty to go around
Yeah.
with coffee. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
there's probably more coffee drinkers than homeowners.
I would say that
Right,
for
you know.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's plenty to go around in the coffee space. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool to just see all these businesses start coming along and
yeah,
getting that that transient type of traffic through Danielson as same thing they did in Putnam, and
Yep.
and if you go even further back, like how Mystic kind of is, and you know what I mean, and you just can start being these, we are a destination spot,
And it's a really
just
great
have to-
downtown with the light posts and
you
like it's
really think Danielson's destination?
I think
Yeah.
Northeast Connecticut is a
What do
destination.
you think, Kyle?
We destination.
I saw your comment last
I just think we're a destination. We're a group of destination towns. We just have to start acting like it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, I mean, how many people, when the weather's nice, they bike through
Yeah.
all of Northeast
exactly.
Connecticut,
it's
or they take their
quintessential New England.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
Leaf
Yep.
peeping, and
Yeah. it's
the
beautiful.
Christmas light drive-throughs,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. There's so many things to do here. We have so much, forests and hiking, and we have the bike trails and all that.
Rail
that-
trail.
rail trails, and
Yep.
there's just so much, and I can't tell you how many people we move in from other states as a realtor. We move in from
Yeah.
all over, and like I feel like on like the national, I don't know, whatever the national level the word is, like Connecticut, it's not great, but I
Yeah, I don't know.
I love Northeast
I think you're right. I
Connecticut.
think we all take for granted how cool the Quiet Corner really is.
Right.
Like we're pretty lucky.
Yeah.
I think everybody does. They get settled into wherever they are. and
Yeah,
you just-
right.
It's in like your everyday nature to take the dogs on the rail trail, and you're like, there are people that live in Iowa and don't even know what a hill is. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
One of my best friends moved out to Vegas for when he was in the Air Force, and he stayed in Vegas, and he came back with his kid. They stayed here at my house, and instead of bar hopping, we went farm hopping. They were
I love it.
It was so cool. We could go from and we would go into some of these farms, and there would be nobody there.
Yeah.
Like look around for someone to help us cash out or
That's
whatever.
awesome.
And they couldn't get enough of local clean beef, local eggs
Yeah.
and butter, and just walking around the little general store type vibes and stuff like that. I was just like, this is cool.
It really is.
And
That's
it's
awesome.
like it's so foreign to them,
Yeah.
for that. So to live in such a big city and whatnot, and in a desert, so
Yeah.
everything's
Right.
kind
Just a little different.
of- yeah. We're like, it's so green here too. So, wow. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Anything else we didn't cover?
So I think we did pretty well.
Yeah. Well, as always, you guys are always, welcome to come on whenever anything changes or, whatever. I just
Cool. Thanks.
I love the support you've been giving us. Actually, do you have something coming up at the chamber? Is there am I allowed to mention?
Yeah. So
You might be the new.
yeah,
It's a vote, right? So
yeah. I mean,
did
we've been
elections
running-
happen?
yeah, we should probably run some of the campaign ads. You're trying to get some
Or
campaign.
did they already vote? Or
No,
they haven't voted
it's
yet?
been nominated. Yeah, currently
Okay.
nominated to be president next year. So
Of the Chamber of
Yeah.
Commerce? Yeah. So.
yep. So I'll step down from KBA.
Everybody knows. I mean, campaign money's not real money. so-
You're right. Yeah, exactly.
You're not stepping down from KBA. You were supposed to.
Stepping
It was
down.
a 2-year
I'm
term.
Stepping down as
Right.
the
Yeah,
president.
yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah, stepping
But not
away.
because of chamber. It was a 2-year
Right.
term.
Yeah. So 2-year
Yeah.
terms with KBA.
Right.
So served my time,
Yep.
and I'll be on the executive board still, obviously with KBA, but then take over from be vice president to president of the chamber for a year. And so
Nice. So that
January
term's a year.
16th.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a 1-year term. Yep.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, big shoes to fill. Joe Carlone Jr. He's guy's a stud. Man. 64 ribbon cutting for the chamber.
Wow.
That's a lot.
I'm not going after that record.
For in 1 year.
1 year, 64 ribbon cutting
Holy
Yeah.
moly.
Yep.
Total or that he attended?
Well,
total
in
that he did.
Oh my gosh.
in the defense of you, I guess, or anyone that tries to get that, this
Yeah.
is the first full year that we've merged with the Wyndham
Oh, the window. Yeah.
Yeah.
The-
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
Wyndham
we added.
Commerce.
We have almost 500 members. I think we added 14 from the Western region.
Yeah.
So that's good. I mean, we gave Joe 4 ribbon cuttings in one.
We did. That is true. We did.
We gave him a 4-for-1 special.
fair.
in our face. I really wanted him to get the record. I wanted it
Yeah.
to be so unachievable that I didn't try to get it.
Don't try to.
That guy, man, he's everywhere, and he creates these unique trophies. Like, seriously, the one he brought today for JT's Appliance. They had their ribbon cutting today in Putnam. They moved their office next to Winnie.
Nice.
It's a washing machine, and he goes, check this out. It works. Hits the button, and it spins the laundry inside. Yeah, like this guy. Yeah, definitely.
People are going to be disappointed.
Yeah,
next
big
year.
shoes to fill there. Yeah. Yeah, so I reached out to John Jenna. I was like, hey, I actually got to text him that plaque and be like, this is what we're looking for next year. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
so I got some, we're working on it.
I mean, it's a big team effort too. So
Yeah, I mean,
To run
Elle,
these local.
Elle Sherman now just had her baby, so she's on maternity. She's awesome. Nancy's great. The two of them just two-headed monster running all these events.
Yeah.
But Elle went on a maternity leave, and she sent us like, okay, guys, here's what you're gonna do while I'm out. Here's all your events. Here's all your presentations. Here's all your talking points.
Nice.
Like, yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, we just do what she says basically at this point, and
Smart.
we'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Let
great.
the woman run the show.
For sure.
Awesome.
It's in your best interest.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, this has been a blast, and
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming.
It was
yeah,
great.
thanks for coming. So, anyway, everyone out there, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
And
Christmas.
we will see you right before the New Year's with Ashling Gym.
Oh, yeah.
We try to always encourage people around New Year's to join gyms and try to get healthy, maybe
Healthy resolution.
healthy resolutions,
They're awesome. Functional fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little less screen time, a little more
Gym time.
gym
Yeah.
time.
And it's a huge
stuff like that.
community. Look at
Oh,
them plug
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Jay.
Yeah. Jane
Yeah.
Lee's doing an awesome job.
Yeah.
It's a great place.
So they'll be on here December 30th at 6 p.m. when we return from our Christmas vacation.
Are you guys doing a New Year's special? Like you're gonna go on live and count down? No.
So we have some shy wives, and we were just
Yeah, they won't
last
come
year we were hanging out, and we were hanging out down here, and we took some pictures and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, we're we're kind of the talking heads of our
Community
families.
Workbench countdown.
Oh yeah. Last year might have been the first year I made it till midnight. It's
Yeah.
a long time.
I didn't.
Yeah, same. We're like,
Yeah.
why are we doing this?
I'm like, tomorrow's gonna be the same, whether I stay up or not.
2 years ago, we did the countdown at like 9, so our kids thought it was midnight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we
Terrible.
we
Yeah.
We
no
went
no
skiing,
we,
right?
We were skiing, yeah.
we did that when they were little too because it's a kid with sleep deprivation.
Right.
It's terrible,
I
and we
A mom
mean-
with sleep deprivation is terrible. So
yeah. Well, we have
was on
one
board.
that sleeps like 12 hours, no problem, and we have another one that sleeps like 6 hours if you're lucky. So it's like both ends.
same.
Of
we have the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah, we put on like 2 years ago, New Year's ball drop on YouTube,
Yep.
Yeah.
the TV.
Yeah.
We're up skiing. We're like, all right, ready?
Did you ski? Did you ski that day?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
tired
you're never
anyway.
gonna make
Yeah.
it.
No, we wouldn't make it anyway.
No.
So it's not all good. It's like, all right, ready, kids? Let's count it down. All right, good night.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. Yeah. So for the December 30th, that's kind of our New Year's special.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
You could do the fake countdown.
Yeah.
Schedule it to air at midnight. Come on.
Oh, we could do that. We could record something and then just.
See?
I like the pressure of live and the consistency. Monday night at 6. That's us.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. As always, buy local, hire local, dine local, volunteer local, and donate local. Have great days.